Happy New Year. All right, welcome. This is the Maple.Realty show with Roman, Lance, and me, Tasia. And today, on this episode, we're going to go over a review over the Toronto real estate market for last year, 2025. And I'll let Roman take it away.
Hey, Happy New Year, boys. Let's get started. So, last month, December 2025, market stats. This is for the whole Toronto and the Greater Toronto Area, so the whole GTA. So, overall market trend that Trev released was GTA home sales were down 8.9% year over year. So 3,697 versus 4,056 last December. Buyers are still waiting to be convinced that the economy and labor market are on a solid footing. And the average price came in at $1,006,735, which is down 5.1% year over year. So
Mhm.
I found this interesting because the average price is the lowest I've seen in a while. Like it's almost below $1 million, which is pretty interesting. It says buyers are waiting to be convinced that the economy and labor market are on a solid footing. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the economy is starting to get on a solid footing, or you think it's still pretty weak?
Oh,
I think it's basically we have a lot of supply that's hitting the market after a long time when it was a seller's market, when there's so many buyers that now it's kind of like breathing and recovering from the pent up demand. Now it's just pent up supply, in my opinion. So it's pushing prices down a little bit, or a decent amount for some people for sure.
You guys
yeah.
think the average prices will come down below $1 million?
Below 2020?
Below 1 million, like average price.
Oh, below 1 million?
Yeah, because right now the average price came in at 1,006,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's only 6,000 more. It's not impossible. I mean, there's a high chance it can happen if,
yeah,
people are still not buying, right? So the supply and demand, like they just said, and what we mentioned in our last video or our first episode, there's a lot of factors involved on this. I mean, it's not just, there's so much things. I mean, the interest rate went down, but, people are not buying and selling. People are trying to sell, but people are not buying.
yeah. And also, I think because it's winter and like November and
Well,
December,
that
it's
too,
kind of slow.
yes. Even everything that happened, you know, after the pandemic and all this, interest rate increase, winter time is really a downtime for real estate. So it's really hard to tell. But
I don't
comparing
Yeah,
it
remember
for
when
for the
the last
previous
time
years,
prices were below $1 million, the average price for all of the GTA, all home types. Do you guys remember?
actually, in the market watch report, um, let me see if I can. Oh, I can't scroll down. In the very end of the report, it has
hmm
the average prices for the past couple of years, back up to like 2012. And what I noticed is between 2015 or 2016 and 2025, the average price went from that mid 700s or 700s to a million now. So roughly, it's about a 50% increase in the past 10 years,
yeah.
But
which
you don't
is
remember when?
which is not bad.
hmm I mean, we're still up there, right? I mean, our price is not like very low. We're still considered as expensive,
Yeah.
but you know,
It's
people
$1
got
million
used to,
now.
especially yeah, and also you know, it's just for people who actually invested this, during the pandemic and afterwards. They got hit by this a lot that, and a lot of them are the one that buys, and right now they're scared to buy because of what happened to them. They're either break even with the price that they bought their houses right now or previous houses, or they're below that. A lot of them even sold them below the price they bought it for.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
they kind of got burnt when they, when they, yeah, that's what scares these buyers, and they also tell the stories to other people, and now other people are are also getting scared to buy because they don't want that to happen to them, right?
for sure.
Yeah.
I think Taylor, did you find it? The year?
Yep, I found it. So
What
in
year was
2015, the average price for 2015 was 623,000, and for 2016 it was 731,000. What I found
Okay.
interesting though is
But when was the last
um,
time it was below a million?
the last time it was below a million was 2020, and it was 926,000.
Okay,
Well,
that's
yeah,
what I thought.
exactly. It's what,
So
yeah,
so
it
5 years,
happened in a pandemic. Yeah.
yeah, or
Yeah,
Hmm.
I
but
guess,
the big thing that I noticed is from 2020 to 2021, it went from, let's just say 926,000 is close to 900,000. It went from 900,000 to 1.1 million. So it almost went up 200,000 in that one year
wow.
between 2020 and 2021.
Okay, so
And it made
Yeah.
sense.
let's make a
Right.
prediction. So
Okay.
the average prices are at basically $1 million right now for all home types as of last month. Will
Hmm.
average prices come down below a million like it did back in all the way back in 2020, or will it stay and then eventually go up?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell, man.
Yeah, it's very
It's
hard
hard
to
to
tell,
tell.
and the other
Anything is
problem that
still
we have,
feeling, it might still go down to,
I'm going
and it's
to
not just
predict
that.
that
it's also like how the behavior of the people, right? Like, are they gonna buy? Are they, you know, is there gonna be a lot of sales? Nothing happens if there's no transactions happening, then it will go down.
Yeah, and if there's very few transactions, it's not a great insight into what the average value of what is around, right?
Yeah,
It just
yeah,
means they're not transacting. So it's,
yeah,
I think it could go down because it going down $6,000 is not much money. It could go to
exactly,
990
exactly.
like
Yeah, it's only
tomorrow,
6,000 away. Yeah, exactly. It's only
that's
6,000 away for it to
and it
be
can
hit
go
that
to
1 million mark.
and it can go to
that's
1
what I was
million and
going to
20
say.
day after.
I was going to say I think it's going to go down slightly. We'll see like 5 digits instead of six, and then it will go back up. But I don't think it will go below 900,000 average prices. I don't. I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think it's
Yeah.
going below
Well,
900.
yeah, we don't really know. We will see.
If it goes
It
below
helps a lot of,
900, there's going to be a lot of pain, I
yeah,
think.
well, a lot of pain for people who bought after the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
It's really gonna
Yeah.
be because they're just trying to hold on, and these guys are like trying to hold on until it goes back up, right?
Yeah.
And they're
Speaking of
trying to sell
hurricane,
after that.
that's a good point. People are trying to hold on. So there's a lot of people asking me lately saying, "Oh, do you think there's going to be a lot of foreclosures this year?" And I think in every market there will be a certain amount of foreclosures for sure. But the
Hmm.
people that bought in 2021 or 2022 at the peak, what we have to remember is that they got stress tested a little higher, right? So they got stress tested at like 5 point something percent. So now that the rates are coming down, they have to renew their mortgage, let's say. They're still going to feel pain, but I think they'll still be able to carry the cost of I think people are going to be pretty resilient. They're not going to like it, right? But they
Yeah,
also don't want to lose their home.
I
Exactly.
agree with you.
Yeah.
I think because of the stress test and all of those reasons, I think it's going to be less likely for people to lose the home. But obviously, there will be some
But there's
that
going to be
will. Yeah.
okay. I guess we should move on to the next point. So Trev released why sales are down. So too much uncertainty weighed on consumer confidence. Although sales are down, new listings actually went up 1.8% year over year. So this could mean that sellers carrying costs may be forcing decisions, like we were just kind of speaking about, or they may be having more hope for the market improving. So month over month, sales dipped again from November. What do you guys think the reason is for new listings going up 1.8%? Do you think it's because sellers are uh, they're carrying costs or forcing their decisions, or do you think they're more hopeful about an improving market?
In my opinion, 1.8% is just so small, it's not even worth
Yeah.
considering. Like if it went up 5 or 10, and I'm like, okay, that's something. But 1.8, man, it could be minus 1.8 next month and we won't
Yeah.
even notice, in my
That's
opinion.
true.
Uh,
I think it could mean something. I think every little bit counts. It could be the start of people being more hopeful that it's a new year or spring is coming, or it could actually mean that people's renewals are coming up and they're feeling more forced to sell because of the carrying costs, and maybe they want to downsize. So I think it could mean
well,
something.
it could. And also I know like sometimes people like to sell off their investments that aren't benefiting them at the end of the year to basically do something with their taxes. I don't fully understand it, but maybe there's some more players in play putting their listings on sales to because it's the end of the year and they just want to get rid of something. They don't want to carry certain things anymore.
Yeah, it's a mix of both too, right? So it's not only people downsizing, some people are also upsizing, right? Because some people were trying to
Yeah,
hold on to their houses, because like, they don't want to sell it like below how much they bought it or break even or just making a bit, right? Because they were planning of how it was back then where, you just hold on to it and make some money and then now you can buy a bigger one somewhere else, right? So what they did now is like they take the loss and even we just look at the bright side. We just let them know that hey, you're taking a loss, but when you're buying this bigger property, you cannot buy this property for this price back then too. So you have to look at that way. You're also winning still from losing from selling your house. Let's say you were down by 100,000, but now you're getting this bigger house for less than 200,000. You know, so because we have a client like we helped like that, and they were saying, oh yeah, I remember the house that you sold us. We sold it for 100,000 below, and now we're buying this. But I said, yeah, but look at the price of this house during 2021 and below. It was 1.5. Now you're getting it for 1.2. So you're
yeah,
actually saving 300,000 there. So
no.
if anything, you're winning 200,000 because you only lost 100,000 on the first house, and you're getting this below 300,000.
I think that's a
So
really, really good point because
yeah,
it's relative to when you purchase both transactions. People often look at it in just one way, but they're missing the bigger picture. And I think
yeah,
you explained it pretty well there, Lance.
yeah. You know, you have to kind of look at the bright side on everything. I noticed too, the more expensive the house is, the lower it become. And the cheaper the houses, it didn't go down as much. Let's say those houses below 1 million, it only went down by 50,000 or 100,000. But anything more than 1 million, I noticed, or even to like 3 million, they went down big time, like a lot.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
I
a
see.
good time for those, people who wants to buy bigger houses.
And aren't they
Yeah.
imposing, I don't know if it went through, larger land transfer tax on homes above 3 million?
I heard about that. I don't know if it went through either. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's going to go through with the way things have been, but
But even if it
not sure.
hasn't gone through yet, it could push people to maybe make some moves now before that happens.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's something
Yeah,
you can add on to someone who's trying to buy a million
but
dollar
I
house
think
and more.
the market for 3 million homes is far less than the market for 1 million, and I think generally the people that were going to buy 3 or 4 million, 5 million houses, they would just get them anyway, regardless of what the
Oh yeah,
tax
yeah, yeah.
situation
Well,
happened.
Yeah.
speaking of
A
the
lot of
bright
them doesn't
side,
really care much.
Treb released some positive signals. So Treb mentioned more encouraging economic news recently. So the market became more affordable as mortgage rates tended to lower. Canada's economy is showing some strength, and Treb is urging governments at all levels to take action now to provide tax relief for consumers and help ease the rising cost of living. So fair and responsible tax policies can put more money back into people's pockets, restore consumer confidence, and rebuild trust in the economy. So, will the government actually listen to Treb? That's, I guess, bigger question.
Hmm.
I think they are. I mean, they're holding mortgage rates pretty well, in my opinion.
And I
So,
think they
and
realize
inflation.
they have no choice. I mean, consumers are putting a lot of
Yeah,
pressure.
yeah, I agree.
Okay, so breakdown of home type. So year over year price change. So again, this is for all homes across the GTA. For detached homes, prices went down minus 5.9% overall. Semi-detached went down minus 11.4%. Townhomes went down minus 6%. But for this for townhomes specifically, uh, I left a note that in Toronto though it actually went up 5.4%, which is the only home type across all the home types last month that actually hit positive numbers. And then lastly, as you can see on the chart there, um, below center with the yellow bars, condo apartments
Hmm.
went down minus 7.3%. So basically,
Wow, I see. Yeah. Hmm.
detached and townhomes held their
Hmm.
values best, which makes sense in my opinion, because I find that most home buyers strive for a detached home typically, and then um, a lot of people that can't afford detached homes go for townhomes because they might not necessarily want a condo. So a townhome is a good entry into the market where you still feel like you have a home that you're in control of, and you could eventually sell and upsize and or stay in there, right? If maybe
Or
you
at the very
you're okay
least, have a backyard option.
and
Hmm.
parking in a garage. So
Exactly. One thing that I did notice, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but
yeah, I can see
um, so the 416 and 905, there's a lot more sales in the 905 than the 416. I thought that was interesting.
that is
Um,
interesting. I
because
wonder
like if
if
you
that
look at detached,
um with the new isn't there a new government mandate getting all government workers to go back into the office? I was speaking with a friend that works at a bank, and he was telling me he has to go back to the office full time now.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
probably going
Yep.
to make a lot of people move back into the city uh, if they moved out during COVID, right? And the commute could get pretty tough with the way
that's true.
traffic.
Hmm.
But I think that that's already happened. I feel like people have already started and been moved back to the city now because what they noticed was happening from what I read or saw was because everyone was working from home, a lot of the businesses downtown, because no one was coming to the office, they're losing the traffic. So a lot of the businesses were getting hurt
Restaurants.
negatively. And exactly. Oh,
Anything to add to that, Lance? So the inventory, active listings were up overall 17.5% year over year. So more choice for buyers and less pressure on prices. So we kind of talked about that already.
Hmm.
Days on the market, average days on the market was 65. It was slightly higher than last year still, which was 55 days. And homes are taking longer to sell still. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it going to get better anytime soon?
Depends really how people are gonna take everything. Like a lot of people are scared to buy right now, but you know, there are investors there who see the bright side on things like this, and we don't have much of those people. That's really that, you know. I mean, there a lot of people are still waiting for the bottom price of everything, and I don't, we don't really know what's the
I
bottom price on this.
yeah, that's trying to catch a falling knife. Like we won't know the bottom till after we've moved on from the bottom. So
Like, exactly. It's, if anything, they're the one who's making it a bottom, right? If no one's gonna buy, then it's gonna keep on going down. I mean, it's good for them. I mean, it's just the nature of consumer and the seller, right? The consumer always wants it to be cheaper, and
true.
seller wants it to be more expensive, right? Because they need to make money. So for them, if they can wait, if they have the tolerance, and maybe they're living in they already have a house, they're just upgrading, or they're renting and they're fine with it. If they're fine doing that for a while until the price really go down to how much they really want it, and then we're gonna keep on seeing this prices going down. But and there won't be that much transactions going on. But if one day they're gonna be like, you know what, I just want a bigger house, or I don't want to rent anymore, then that's when we're gonna see a lot of transactions going on, and prices are gonna start going up again.
Yeah. I also
Yeah.
think it might be a good time or a better opportunity now in the future for first-time home buyers because if there were first-time home buyers who were actually interested in condos, this year and
Hmm.
next year are probably really good times if they like living in condos to get one at a
I mean,
probably one for them.
if they see it as a home, not an investment, it is a good time anytime, especially now because
Yeah.
the prices are not that bad. But
And there's so
a
much
lot of them
available.
are, yeah, there are, and and I'm surprised. Even the new built ones are actually nice, because a lot of
Yeah,
people were saying, "Oh, I don't like getting those new condos because it's like it's a bird box, it's like small and this and that." I'm like, you know what? I'm surprised when I showed, last year, especially during summertime, some condos in Mimico area, right? It's a nice in Lakeshore.
I
I
like
really nice
Mimic.
that area. Oh, I love that area, man. I even
It
told
feels
my
like California.
yeah. I even told my partner back then, in 2023, I think, when I brought her to show some properties. I said I want to buy a condo here, most likely a penthouse, or at least just one below the penthouse. And she agreed, and we were I was showing last year this new built condos there, and I'm surprised because they have better amenities. The buildings were better. It was so nice, and the units were big as well. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, yeah. Because I'm like, usually I will tell my clients, oh, just so you know, new condos usually have smaller units of all, although they have more modern design, better amenities. It's just how it is, they have to go with the budget, right? But when I opened the door, I was surprised too. So it actually helped me because my clients were like, you know, oh, I'm like, this is not so bad. This is actually as big or bigger than my condo right now. Like, there you go. I guess they're improving, and they're hearing out the complaints of buyers of new condos, now they're kind of making it bigger. So, you know,
Yeah.
there's good things happening there. That's what I will just tell people, I mean, clients now, I mean, just look at the bright side on what's happening right now, because if we keep on focusing on the bad side, then we will never buy, and
Yeah.
it will never get better, right? The prices will not go up if you're planning of it going up. Then if you're not buying, then you're just helping it to not happen, right? Because if you really need the home, then don't look at it as that, because you're not gonna sell that place anytime soon. If you're holding on to that for at least maybe 3 to 5 years, then you're gonna have your money back or more after that anyway, or during that time, 3 to 5 years.
And also, we
Mm.
haven't spoken about rentals a lot, but speaking of like how there's
Oh
so
yeah.
much supply of the condos, if you're a first-time
Mm,
buyer and you're renting right now, something that you may want to consider if your lease is coming up, it might be a good opportunity to find a new rental for a more competitive price and
yeah.
save some money, right?
Hmm.
Save some extra money for towards your down payment for when you're ready to buy, even if you're not ready now. There's some relief on that front too, right? So I know the rental market is taking a bit of a hit too in terms of being a landlord. Prices have gone down, right? So
Hmm. And what you said is I think also pretty. It's a good point because the rental rates went up like crazy in 2022 and 2023, and you can, if you happened to get a very high rental rate at that time, you can probably find an alternative for much cheaper right now if that is what's stressing you out financially. It's not a bad time to move.
I have two lease listings up right now, and one of them is a two
Okay.
bedroom, one bathroom, 1,000 square feet main floor. Back in
Mm,
2022, I had it up for $2,500 a month, utilities all included, internet included, parking, uh, pretty good. I had 10 offers within the first week, and I got it secured from a couple that was willing to give 6 months upfront rent. It
Wow.
just bam bam done. And now fast forward 3 years later, I have that same unit up. Um, what happened was the couple that was living there, they
Hmm.
at the time that was a pretty good uh, rental rate, 2,500 for that unit. We were actually getting offers for more money, but we declined them because the landlord liked this couple because they had good jobs, good credit, and he
Hmm.
just felt more comfortable with them. So they were getting a pretty competitive price at that time, and the landlord never raised their rent after 3 years. So they were able to save some money, and then they ended up buying a home, and that's why they left. So now, when we put it up for lease again, we put it up for 2,600 now, and we've
Yeah.
been getting activity on it. We've had interest, but just nothing serious, and it's been about 45 days on the market, and we can't seem to find the right tenant for it. So it's very interesting what's happened in the rental market as well.
Yeah, I also found it difficult. There's a condo that I've rented out a few times, and I rented it out in 2021 or 2022 for 3,000. Now I'm renting it out for 2,600, and it's a lot less rent to rent the
Mm-hmm.
same apartment. Just one of the points I had, I guess.
I guess
Mm-hmm.
that could bring us to the next headline. Trumps economic indicators worth mentioning. So GDP for the Q3 of 2025 was at 2.6%. So it was picking up some meaningful momentum. Employment is up slightly, 0.8%. Unemployment is at 8.7%. Inflation is at 2.2%, cooling, and Bank of Canada overnight rate 2.3%, prime rate 4.5%, also cooling since last month. I don't know if you want to pull up that chart to show
I
it
can pull
again,
it
but
up, yeah.
it might be easier to see. So employment is up slightly, unemployment is up quite a bit, still 8.7%. It's nice to see inflation cooling off a little, and the Bank of Canada overnight rate and the prime rate.
Yeah. I like seeing
That's
unemployment go down. That's my favorite one to go down.
yeah. So that went down
Uh,
from last month slightly.
and 1 year mortgage rates seem to have went down as well.
Okay, so that pretty much sums up everything for December 2025. So what this all means in Reader's Digest summary: buyers are hesitant. Buyer hesitation is still the main story. And that's number one.
Mhm.
Supply is rising faster than demand.
Mm-hmm.
Prices are adjusting but not collapsing, and economic conditions are slowly improving but not enough yet. So, you guys
Yeah.
have any final thoughts on December 2025?
No, I think you summed it up pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that summary.
Yep. Yep. Guess that summarizes everything in 2025.
I
All right,
guess the
guys.
next
I think,
is
yep.
an overview of the whole year, and then we're into 2026.